You go down to Sundae or what?
Because after she has some story.
And
So I should sit in one of the thrones. I should sit in the we get to sit in the I should sit in the
Yeah, no, it's
little
okay.
kids' chairs.
So everybody who's going to be on the podium, okay, where we need to be is Judy and Carol. Yeah.
In the throne.
And Margaret.
And Margaret gets
Okay,
the throne.
so what's going to happen about 5 minutes before you walk out?
Let's do a physical walkthrough.
So you're going to walk through the door.
And I will be on your
Yes.
side.
Okay, that's fine.
So where we're going to have people coming in and out, we should leave the empty chair on the side where people are coming in and out.
Okay, well, the people who are coming up and down from here will be coming up here and going down here. Okay.
That's why we're doing this.
Huh?
Okay, let's all do the same thing at the same time because this is why we need to do it.
Okay.
So we're going to walk out.
Okay, we're walking out.
Right. And you have a seat.
We're talking about the whole thing. We're going to do a walkthrough of the whole thing.
So you sit down, and then Judy comes up and rings the bell and does announcements. And then she does the prelude. She announces the prelude, and so all the singers are here. Yes, we're walking through. That's right. So we do the prelude. Okay. When the prelude's over, everybody goes and sits down. Stars are last. Guys, we're doing a walkthrough. Okay, we're doing a walkthrough, but we'll be ready in just a sec. Okay. So after the prelude is over, Judy comes back up. She does the call to worship and announces the hymn, and then you leave. And you head to the back, okay? Then, no, not yet. Okay, so then she announces the hymn. Okay, yeah, you're the hymn. Okay, then Kimberly is going to come up on that side and sit down during the hymn.
During the hymn.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, so the hymn is done, she's gone, and then you come up for after the hymn, the chalice lighting, then you sit down. Okay, right. Then you go sit down. Then there's the song response. Okay. Then I guess I do need to come up during the hymn on this one. I hadn't planned on it before, but yeah, I'll do that. So I'll be up over here during the hymn. I'll go up and I'll do about kinship. Thank you, because that is a new phase. Then when I'll finish and sit back down. I'm going to sit back down while Carol does hers, and I'm going to stay seated while and Carol does hers, sits down.
No, I introduced the meditation as well.
It's in the script.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to sit down for it. She's going to be up there, so she
I'm
just
just
stays there.
so
Right.
I introduced the script, the meditation. Cheryl does that,
Yeah, on the screen.
and then Margaret, I'll sit back in with that.
So then there's a weird piece in here where I enjoy her.
Hey Pam,
Yes.
do you have an extra paper copy of the script?
No, but I can make one.
Okay.
If you send it to Adam, he can print it. He's got access to the Rico printer downstairs because he
Okay.
is a Rico salesman, so he can just go ahead and print it
Fine.
if you send it to him.
Okay.
I'll
I
let
mean,
you know.
he has access. You guys have access to it on 223. Okay, I'll send it. Okay, when I'm finished with this, I'll send it.
But that was my assignment, so we can find it online.
Okay. All right.
So the weirdness is the call for the offering. So I do the.
Okay. You come up for Joyce. Okay. Guys?
So the
the offertory.
So it has me doing the gratitude, which is like a 2-sentence thing.
Okay.
Reflection, I think we
Okay.
should just read the gratitude.
Let Kimberly read the gratitude. Okay. Okay. It just says we're thankful for the Women's Alliance.
Okay.
Okay? And then just read what's, okay. That makes more sense. Thank you.
Then
I thought you were writing it. The reason I had you there is I thought you were writing something
Blah, blah, blah.
special for the gratitude. And I misunderstood. That makes more sense then.
okay, so
Then, after the reflection, Kimberly heads back down.
and I get up.
Look it up. Do your sermons, words.
Words of gestures.
Okay. And then you announce the closing hymn.
And then closing hymn to give to peace.
Simple. And you go and sit down. We have the closing hymn. Then Carol comes up and does the closing words. And stay for the post-food. And it's,
It's in there.
no, normally what happens is somebody, at that time, as soon as the post-food starts, you guys leave to go out to the front. Okay? Somebody, I've got Margaret,
I'm the trailing edge, so I will turn off the lights.
yeah, she'll put the candle out, and then when it's over, it's over.
And she's doing the stay after service thing.
I don't know, because people are downstairs too, so I mean, to take the picture. Oh, while we get in place, yes, yes.
You're talking about two different things, so just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing as we're sharing information.
Okay, the thing is that who's going, what are we going to do, when are we going to do that?
When do the users set themselves for the pledge of allegiance during the time
This is required. That's why she's covered.
Yes, so when does the Sunday school set themselves?
All right, what are we gonna
And
get?
as she comes up to do the closing words, be ready to come out. And she says, when she starts saying, stay with the toast, okay? She'll say, as your last act of worship. Just when she starts saying that, you start coming up, don't come up while she's actually doing the closing words. Okay. Okay. No, and here you are, first Unitarian.
No, I didn't, you know, I just had two things I got from that. She thought we might be just like, what was that? So,
I'm not going to look at you like,
oh, no. My look was like, I couldn't have remembered.
that's why I actually gave Margaret access to the whole script thing, because she's the one who likes to have it printed out ahead of time, and so she can go in and get the script she needs when she's doing it. And it could be available to anybody who does, anybody who does.
This was more about the printing on themselves.
think there might be an ice cream truck in the neighborhood. Summer, swimming season, sizzling sands, simmering seas, scorching sunlight, startling storms, seacoast susurration, starry skies, serenading cicadas, steamy Sundays, sassy seniors, ice cream. Welcome and good morning. This is our Sunday service at First Unitarian Church of St. Louis. Hello, my name is Judy Crouch, she, her, hers, and I am the treasurer of the Women's Alliance. We are in charge of the production today. I'm glad you could join us this Sunday, either in person or online. If you are a visitor or newcomer, I'd like to extend a special welcome. And if you are new to the congregation, be sure to fill out the newcomer form, which is located downstairs in the lobby. This Sunday, there is no Sunday or story for all ages. So if there are any children here and you're between 1st and 5th grade, you're welcome to go down to the chapel and they'll have activities, supervised activities for you in the play area until 11 o'clock. If you're a wee one, you're welcome in the nursery. After the service, join us downstairs in Fellowship Hall. Today is National Ice Cream Day. Whew. The Women's Alliance is providing ice cream and other sweet treats, cool drinks, and that's all in addition to the usual coffee, because some of you, like me, can drink coffee even on a hot day. So if you're attending online, you won't get the ice cream, but you can connect with each other in the chat. And don't forget that the link for virtual coffee hour can be found in your weekly e-news. We especially want to welcome any families with children. You can connect with Lynn Hunt for information about our religious education programs for children and youth, or you can click on the link in the description. Later in the service, there will be an opportunity to share personal joys and sorrows. You can submit yours via the online form. You can find the link in your order of service, in the live stream description, or simply aim your smartphone at the QR codes around the sanctuary. There are a couple of announcements this morning. Join us for another gardening and work day next Saturday, July 27th from 9 to 12 p.m., 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Come and help us beautify the church grounds and work on several projects around the church facility. Remember to bring sunscreen and water. Sign up on the Friday e-newsletter to let us know you're coming. Thanks for your help. And I have a feeling if you forget to sign up, you can still come. They'll be glad to have you. They will not turn you away. Sunday, July 28th is the date for the Trinity Hot Lunch program, which begins at 10:30 a.m. and concludes at 3 p.m. A variety of volunteer shifts are available and details can be found in the newsletter. July 31st is the deadline to submit applications for the Women's Alliance Scholarship. Please see the church website or the e-newsletter for details. Welcome to this religious community where we affirm the dignity and freedom of all who enter. Here we seek to live together in relationship and respect so that we may embrace and celebrate our differences. Our religious values invite us to a shared journey of truth and meaning. Sincerity and connection guide our religious community, and call us into deeper association with ourselves and with our world. Welcome. We are so glad you're part of our community this morning. Now, please enjoy our prelude, Summertime, Summertime, by the Jamies, as performed by our pianist, Cheryl Hansen, and the Alliance Sundae Singers. I now invite you into worship this morning with these words from Alliance member Karen Albin. From scoop to nuts, from song to silence, we gather in the sunshine of our service to each other. In the heat of summer, we recall our traditions of connection, our common values, our work, and our worship, and we are blessed. Now, please rise as you are willing and able and join in our opening hymn of the month, number 66, When the Summer Sun is Shining.
Oh, Good morning. I am Kimberly Perry, she, her, hers. I'm the secretary of the Women's Alliance here at First Church. We light our chalice this morning with these words from Gordon McKeeman. Deep calls into deep. Joy calls into joy. Light calls into light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope. And as one flame lights another, nor grows the less, we pledge ourselves to be bearers of the light wherever we are.
Good morning. I'm Pamela Geppert, she, her, hers, and I am this year's Vice President of the Women's Alliance. The original reader of this poem by Kimberly Blazer was to be Cheryl Coulter, this year's President of the Women's Alliance. However, Cheryl spent a few more days than expected in Albuquerque, New Mexico with a positive COVID reading. She tested negative recently and is in the process of returning. About standing in kinship. We all have the same little bones in our foot, 26, by funny names like navicular. Together, they build something strong. Our foot arch a pyramid holding us up. The bones don't get casts when they break. We tape them, one phalange to its neighbor for support. Other things, like sorrow, work like that too. Find healing in the leaning, the closeness. Our feet have 1/4 of all the bones in our body. Maybe we should give more honor to feet and to all those tiny but blessed cogs in the world, communities, the forgotten architecture of friendship.
Our second reading is What is Everyday Spirituality by Frederick and Marianne Broussat. Everyday spirituality has a long and rich history. It's practiced in many religious traditions, and among those who call themselves spiritual but not religious. But what is it? First, perhaps we should say, it's not the kind of spirituality that maybe we grew up with. We were taught that spirituality was the part of religion that focused on the inner life, something you did in a special place or time, usually a quiet room at home or on a retreat. It involved finding ways to connect with the divine, quietly, reverently, usually by ourselves. As we became familiar with more traditions, however, we discovered that many of them encourage people to engage in a search for the sacred, one definition of spirituality, as they went about the activities of their everyday lives. Celtic Christians, for example, believed that they can connect with God through household duties, working in the fields, or the lift of a song. They invited God to join them in their daily deeds, believing that anywhere could become a place for an encounter with the Holy One. Within the Christian monastic traditions, everyday acts are hallowed, considered to be as important as devotional rituals and community worship. Goddess religions invest nature and the body with spiritual meaning and value. Native Americans look for signs of Spirit's presence while walking in the woods, through encounters with animals, and in community gatherings. Groups within Judaism emphasize taking the ordinary and making it holy. Islam encourages believers to look for signs of God's activity in everything going on around them. And Hinduism encourages recognizing manifestations of the divine in an enlightened person, a cow, a plant, or a small object. Buddhist masters the world over have helped practitioners regard the routines of daily life, from walking to cooking, as basic expressions of spirituality. Tutors in the art of everyday spirituality have appeared in all times and all places. But despite its rich and varied traditions, many people still have trouble understanding and accepting how daily life can be a spiritual practice. Some are influenced by the idea that the world is divided into separate realms of the secular and the sacred. They want their spirituality to take them out of the corrupt world and help them transcend it. The key consequence has been a separation of spiritual belief and practice from daily life. A better understanding, we believe, is to recognize that spirituality is a way of life. And as such, it cannot be separated from our everyday activities. John Shea, a contemporary Catholic theologian, puts it this way: the spiritual life is, at root, a matter of seeing. It is all of life seen from a certain perspective. It is waking, sleeping, dreaming, eating, drinking, working, loving, relaxing, recreating, walking, sitting, standing, and breathing. Spirit suffuses everything. And so the spiritual life is simply life, wherever and whatever, seen from the vantage point of the Spirit. As you've already heard, Cheryl Coulter has been stuck out west. She can't be here in person, so she pre-recorded a meditation for us. You're going to see it right there.
Becoming aware of breath, of posture, of relaxing. Aware of breath, letting go of whatever's happened in the last week or even in the last moment. Just being present to this breath in this moment. Sinking into this breath, this moment. This relaxed body. This stillness. This peace. And keeping the mind focused, relaxed in this moment, this breath, this relaxed body. This relaxed smile. As we come back to this space with our friends to continue with our service.
Good morning. My name is Margaret Weck, she, her, hers, and I am the finance chair of the Women's Alliance at First Unitarian Church. Each week, we bring our joys, celebrations, sorrows, and concerns with us into this communal space. We share them so that we may support each other, lightening the burdens we are carrying, as well as intensifying our joys and celebrations. Now is the time in their service when we connect with one another by sharing our joys and concerns. In our community today, we share the following concerns. Thoughts and prayers with the Minister Emeritus, Reverend Earl Holt, and his family. His Alzheimer's is progressing. Healing thoughts to Kathy Rosinski, who is undergoing some medical testing. Healing thoughts for the daughter of a dear friend who is gravely ill. Asking to keep a brother, sisters, and a person in our thoughts whose father passed away on Saturday, July 20th. Last week, the family faced some difficult decisions regarding his health. May all of the family find peace. They loved their father very much. Sending comfort to a friend who's dealing with a terminally ill sister. Praying for proper perspective about a situation at work. We hold these concerns with tenderness and compassion. May they be lighter because they are shared. As a community, we gather here also to share our joys and celebrations with one another. One joy is that our Alliance President, Cheryl Coulter, has received a negative COVID result and is now on her way home. Also sharing the joy of a person recovering from a nasty ear infection. Joy and best wishes for a dedicated singer-actress as opening night of her latest effort comes this week. Joy for a huge burst of creativity enabling me to get short stories and songs written. We elevate these joys with gladness. May the celebration be magnified because it is shared.
With many joys and concerns remaining unspoken in our hearts and minds, I invite you into a spirit of prayer and mindful attention. From the words of Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage, all the holy nudges that we need. We share this prayer. Spirit of life, eternal beloved of mystery and grace, receive our prayer. We come before that which is greater than ourselves in gratitude for the fullness of our lives, for the anguish and grief that informs our mission to side with love again and again, for the suffering and disenfranchisement of our people that foments our passion for justice and kindness, for complex lives, for hard lives, for real, full, and overwhelmed lives. We give thanks for the blessings that we have been given, the reassurance of community, the steady warmth of hope, and the unwavering faith that there will be better days. We give thanks and we seek your grace. Spirit of love, come alongside with all the holy nudges that we need, so we may live in such a way that we celebrate all the blessings we have been given, so we may be the blessings in this world. Amen, and blessed be.
strives to be a welcoming congregation, inspiring lives of loving kindness and integrity by nurturing spirituality, building community, and advancing justice. Your contributions support the mission and ministry of this congregation in the St. Louis region and beyond. This morning's offering will now be received.
There's a light in the kitchen.
There's a light in this land.
3 women round the table, holding hands.
They carry the burden.
Bring food when they can.
They're
eating the leaving, and they're holding hands. Oh yes, life can get jumbled and tangled sometimes.
Lose your faith in this world and faith's hard to find.
But there's something of love in which I can depend. It's the strength in the women holding hands. Oh, the night can be dark and the road travels far. Life burns like a diamond, it's unbearably hard. But it's sweeter than honey right from the jar.
So we breathe it in deep and we let it out slow and rely on the strength of the hands that we know.
It's a free falling feeling and I'm lighter than air. Home burns like a beacon in your eyes. But somehow we get anchored, somehow we get by. Here's to the women who bind the wounds tight, the ones who sit talking half of the night. Here's to the love and the life that they meant, and here's to the women holding hands. Oh, and here's to the women holding hands. There's a light in the kitchen, there's a light in this land. 3 women round the table holding hands.
Thank you for the wonderful music. I'm not Margaret Weck. For your generosity today and for the Women's Alliance, which has been a vital part of the church community for many years, we give thanks. Many years ago, Charles and I received an ice cream maker as a wedding gift. Most unusual gift, in fact, unique. No one else gave us one. We used it to make ice cream a few times and then stored it away. After Charles died, I considered my past, present, and future. I became determined to become more mindful, more present in my life. As I've been going through my stuff, I found the ice cream maker. I took it out and suggested to my partner, Mike, that we make ice cream. We assembled the ice cream maker and the ingredients according to the instructions. I still had the instructions. I never throw away instructions. I have instructions for things I no longer own. So, it was all put together, but didn't work. This was a test of my engineering skills and my temperament skills, and of Mike's and my relationship then in its early stages. After all, it was my ice cream maker, and I'm an engineer who knows how things work, and I should be able to make ice cream. without giving up and throwing the friggin' thing out the window. So, with patience and persistence, we figured out a way, not exactly according to the instructions, to make a frozen concoction that tasted like ice cream. It was wonderful. That patience and persistence was our version of mindfulness, being present in the moment, being aware of our actions and emotions, and in the end, making it sacred. The ordinary things we do can become sacred. Making ice cream can be a spiritual action if it is done mindfully. I tried to experience and enjoy the time without frustration and impatience. That long ago stored ice cream maker was waiting all those years for me to rediscover it and create a new memory and a batch of ice cream.
It has fallen to me to help clarify the connections between and among summer, ice cream, everyday spirituality, Unitarian Universalism, and the Women's Alliance. So hold on to your floppy hats. Here we go. Summer and ice cream have long been associated with each other. We're in the season of ice cream trucks that are delivering frozen treats to the street in front of your house or down the block. The ice cream truck bell that we use to open today's worship welcomed us all to National Ice Cream Day, the third Sunday in July, which was established in 1984. At the same time, July was designated National Ice Cream Month by the Reagan administration. The first ice cream sundaes were sold about 100 years earlier in the late 1880s and early 1890s. There are some competing claims, which we will not get into here, for exactly where and when the first sundaes were made and sold. The name of the dish does seem to have a relationship to the day of the week with the same name, either as a translation of the German-American inventor or as a nod to the fact that the first sundaes were actually served on Sundays. The sundae may have been created as a way to circumvent the so-called blue laws that prohibited the selling of ice cream sodas on Sundays, because a sundae is essentially an ice cream soda without the soda water. The change in spelling to S-U-N-D-A-E and change in pronunciation to Sundae, which I have never been able to master, were likely related to the attempt to separate the day from the dessert and or the difficulty of trademarking or patenting a day of the week. Regardless of true origin, it is generally agreed that an ice cream sundae has at a minimum 1 scoop of ice cream, a drizzle of a sauce, and a topping. The classic chocolate sundae, which you see here, has vanilla ice cream, chocolate sauce, whipped cream, and a maraschino cherry. It is the construction that gives us the phrase, with a cherry on top, signifying a bonus ingredient adding extra importance or significance. So you know something is really special when it's all that and a cherry on top. There are lots of kinds of ice cream sundaes, since a sundae can actually be made with any flavor of or flavors of ice cream and any possible topping you can think of. Some have a brownie or cookie base to them, and the banana split is another particular elaboration on the same basic theme with a banana sliced lengthwise as the base. One might draw a parallel between this wide variety of ways to manifest sundaes and one major criticism that has been historically leveled against the lack of a statement of creed in Unitarian Universalism. We UUs have been viewed by some as having a Catholic Christian-like orientation, which means picking and choosing which parts of a theology originally derived from Christianity that we like, the parables and teaching of Jesus, for example, and leaving the rest, divine birth, transubstantiation, the Trinity, most of the book of Leviticus, you get it. The implication is that all of Unitarian Universalism is simply a matter of personal taste, as if all of the elements of all of the world's religions are set out like a sundae bar, and each individual just chooses which elements, if any, that appeal to them in the moment, which might change from day to day or even moment to moment. But neither liberal religion in general nor Unitarian Universalism in particular are actually amorphous free-for-alls. The scholarly history of the central questions of Unitarian Universalism extend back into European history, as we remembered in a service a few weeks ago about the disputations happening in the 1500s in what is now Transylvania, leading to somewhat more religious tolerance for the first time in a European monarchy. From this pulpit through the years, we have heard elaborations of the ever-present tensions between clear-eyed rationalism and ecstatic transcendentalism, between the authority of historical texts of many cultures and the current revelations of science, between the interrelated web of existence and the uniqueness of the individual human heart. Each dimension is posed as a different and separate dichotomy, which tends to cause many of us, it causes me, to feel that I have to choose a single side or to put one end of one of these gradients above all of the others as the most important or most defining. Reverend Kim is slowly teaching us how to stop thinking in terms of either or and to embrace both and. This is messy, it is dynamic, and there is ultimately no fixed compromise. So it is easy to assume that the lack of fixed sureties results in there being no there, nothing to hold onto, or in the words of the poet Robert Frost, nothing to fix upon like a star and be stayed. Our congregation's thoughtful grappling with review of our church's mission statement here at First Unitarian as we were coming out of lockdown from the COVID-19 pandemic, and the denomination's several years of study and discussion that culminated in the adoption of the shared value statements at the most recent General Assembly in June of this year, tells us that the core commonalities do not demand certainty or total agreement. So here's a reminder of our new UU Values flower. The petals produce differences in outward appearance of our individual lived theologies, agnosticism, or atheism. If we are Unitarian Universalists, then despite these surface differences, there are central commonalities which allow us to covenant together and stay in community. Your ice cream may be chocolate, and mine might be French vanilla, but all of our Sundays have ice cream at their center, just as our UU value statements have love at the center. Another somewhat unique feature of Unitarian Universalism is the call for us to put our faith into action. If love is the ice cream, then putting that love into our actions in the world is the culminating cherry on top. There are lots of different ways to engage in action in the world, which of course generates other sets of problems in a world with many areas needing immediate improvement. It is possible to be prevented from action because there are simply too many potential actions to choose from, and it is easy to overthink choosing the best place to start, further delaying meaningful action. Trying to address everything that is an important societal or environmental issue also becomes a problem of becoming overwhelmed. It is easy to get overextended and then become exhausted and less capable of continuing any work in the long term. Also, actions for action's sake alone starts to pull our focus from what is important. We start to pay attention more to the details of the action and favor perfecting the performance rather than concentrating on remembering why that action was necessary in the first place. Lives and Sundays are created. As a rule, it's good to get the ice cream in the dish before adding the toppings. As a rule. We're Unitarians. I know somebody has done it successfully some other way. Kimberly's story reminds us that the prosaic task of making the ice cream can be elevated into something more by mindful attention, the hallmark of everyday spirituality. This helps us remember what is important, and that helps nourish our inner strength. On behalf of the Alliance, I would like to raise up the notion that living your faith does not have to cause martyrdom. There are smaller, gentler, and more continuous ways for putting our faith into practice in the world, which is the connection to everyday spirituality. Those lives of loving kindness and integrity that we speak of every week in repeating our church's mission is the manifestation of putting mindful attention into what we do on a daily basis and not just on Sunday. For those of you who might be newer to the church, the Women's Alliance was created under that name in 1886. It was an expansion of the existing sewing circle that had been doing charitable work. The current Women's Alliance, more commonly just called the Alliance, is focused on providing mutual support, nourishing our minds and bodies, and rendering service to the church and larger community. One of the projects for this year of the Alliance is to review our name and specific mission statement. We meet in person twice a month for lunch and an edifying program or field trip, and since COVID-19, we have been meeting every week via Zoom for maintained connection. Many of the Alliance members also participate in the work of the Care and Cerns, or Caring Committee that keeps, or Caring Network, that keeps contact with and provides volunteer assistance from members who are less mobile and or unable to regularly attend Sunday services for whatever reason. The actions of the Alliance may not appear large from the outside, but mutual regard and support are there in abundance and are examples of the kind of actions that, when taken with mindful attention and faithfulness, manifest everyday spirituality. It is not enough to just have good thoughts or pure theology. As you use, we need right actions, not just on the big issues of our time, but in all of our interpersonal relationships and interactions. There is a spiritual discipline in living the deliberate life, especially as the times we are living in feel so turbulent. When on the very urge of feeling overwhelmed, it is good to remember that we contribute to the effort of making a better world by building and sustaining community through the little ongoing acts of faithfulness, kindness, and care that we can share with each other, with everyone who comes into our building, or everyone who comes into our lives. Some people's Sundays will have large mounds of social witness and generous sprinklings of social action. Other people's Sundays will have smaller portions of social action and rather more gardening, maintenance projects around the church, singing, or religious education. But in all cases, love is the main ingredient of the ice cream at the center. Every act does not need to change the whole world to be meaningful, but in Unitarian Universalism, faith should lead to action, even everyday action of caring for one another, because that's what makes it special. That's the cherry on top. Amen and blessed be. So as our next small act, let us rise as we are willing and able and join in singing our closing hymn, number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." The second and third verses are not in the hymnal, but they will appear on the screen. So we're going to sing all three verses.
Where you are.
Our closing words are from astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson and encapsulate the everyday spirituality of the Women's Alliance. The problem, often not discovered until late in life, is that when you look for things in life like love, meaning, and motivation, it implies they are sitting behind a tree or under a rock. The most successful people in life recognize that in life, they create their own love. They manufacture their own meaning. They generate their own motivation. For me, I am driven by two main philosophies: know more today about the world than I knew yesterday, and lessen the suffering of others. You'd be surprised how far that gets you. Please stay for the postlude, and after the postlude, as your last act of worship, turn and greet your neighbor. And then join us, all the members of Alliance, downstairs in Fellowship Hall for some ice cream sundaes or Sundays.